Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and today I wanted to talk about if video games are worth purchasing on day one. If it's worth it for you to shell out the premium price of a brand new game on day one so that you can be one of the first ones to experience this brand new world, to be one of the first adventurers of this new gaming world with everyone else in the social aspect. Which I really enjoy, but this generation it's become a lot more iffy. And I'll get to my reasons why. So to be specific though, I am not talking about anything previous to this generation. So Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, anything before that, I am not talking about those systems. I am only talking about Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, and 3DS and Vita as well. That's the generation that I want to talk about the most because last generation, I really had no problem. I was pre-ordering games left and right. When I wanted a game and I knew that it was coming out, I would pre-order it just because I wanted to experience that firsthand and have, everyone talking about this game and, no one's completed it yet. We're all talking about like how we're enjoying the beginning, the middle, etc. I love that aspect about gaming. But this generation, to shell out a specific amount of money, and that's one of the problems too, is that the amount of money, $60 is what I used to pay a few years ago for an Xbox 360 or a PS3 game. $60 was the full retail price. Now here in Canada, it's up to $70, and it looks like they're saying that it's going to go up to $75, and they say that it already basically has happened, but I have not seen any evidence of this. I've looked at a bunch of different sites. They all still have $70 as the max at the moment, but apparently it's supposed to go up to $75. Either way, it's more than what it used to be. I was so used to paying $60 for a new game, and even then sometimes I didn't like paying $60. Nobody likes paying anything, but you have to determine, is $60 worth a specific game? Certain games are different, and I'm not also talking about limited edition or collector's editions. Those are something completely different. So the pricing was always kind of like an issue, and the more that it goes up, the more of a problem it becomes, because not only is the pricing going up, but the games aren't as reliable as they used to be. Pre-ordering a game, first of all, you're going into a blind buy to an extent. You know what you're getting into if it's a previous series, but the game could be completely garbage, or it could just be mediocre, and you've paid then, a premium price for this mediocre game. Or the game isn't fully complete, and that's my biggest problem with this generation. Halo the Master Chief Collection. I bought this on day one, and I took 2 days off of work. My brother came down, he took time off work so that we could play this game, throughout those entire 48 hours, sleep, and that was the only thing that we were going to do that wasn't playing this game. However, the multiplayer, the online systems for this game were just atrocious. It took hours to get into one 10-minute game, and it was like that for the first few weeks. It took about a month before this game was fully playable online. The single player worked fine. We played quite a bit of single player in the first few days because that's all we could play really, but the multiplayer was completely broken and did not work. Now it does. So in the end, it took a few weeks before it was finally working, and I would have picked it up at that point. Like, let's say if I didn't pick it up on day one because I wanted it to be fully playable, I would have picked it up a few weeks later and probably paid the same price, but it was still really a big letdown wanting to play this game, and a bit of my Steam actually slowed down because of that. I was so excited and I couldn't play it. And I really think that if I would have been able to play this on the first day with my brother there, I think my hype and my hours logged into this game would have been a lot higher. It's still one of my most played games on the Xbox One, but I think I would have logged in more and probably enjoyed the process more when it first came out. And that's a big issue. Another thing is that some games, Assassin's Creed Unity, apparently had tons of glitches, so it obviously was not ready to be put on a shelf. There are some companies that, you can rely on though. I find that whenever I pick up a Nintendo game, like Super Smash Brothers, Super Mario 3D World, basically any of my Wii U titles, I felt that when I put those discs in, if it was on day one, I was getting the exact end product. I felt that my money was, I felt justified in buying those games, just knowing that they would work when I put them into my system. exactly how they were intended to be. So that's one place where I kind of feel okay with doing it, but other times it's like, do I really want to shell out $70 for a game that, you know, I probably haven't played? So there are some times where you do get to play like a beta beforehand, and it gives you an idea of how much you'll enjoy a game. But then there's the fact that, you know, it might not work right away. So I might have to just, you know, wait until it finally works. And at that point, I could have picked up the game for less. Sometimes, you know, games can go on sale in like a month after its release and go down to like, you know, $20 less. So it'd be about $50. I've seen games go, you know, cut right in half. So $45 after a month. And then if you wait just a few months more, in 6 months, I've seen games go down to like $20 brand new. And, you know, if I would have just held out a little bit longer, I could have bought, you know, a bunch of other games instead of shelling out $70 for one game. So it's really hard nowadays to justify buying these games. Now, there are still games that I will probably pick up regardless on day one, just because that there's a chance they'll become scarce later on in the process. Like if there's a niche game or a game that, you know, is an RPG, I really feel that I should pick those games when I have the chance. Maybe not necessarily on day one, but if the first price drop that it gets, pick that game up because you could end up with something like Xenoblade Chronicles. This game is now worth more than its retail price, and it's really hard to find. And especially if you want a brand new game. Like I'm kind of like that. I prefer buying brand new games because I know I'm a collector. I'm very picky. I have a little bit of OCD, and I want games to look nice when I get them. So I usually like to buy brand new. The only times that I will buy a used game is if I know that they're really expensive if it is brand new. Case in point, Xenoblade Chronicles, or any game that from like PlayStation 1. Most RPGs that are old tend to go up in price, so you really don't really have much of a choice, especially for the older games like PS1 or N64. Super Nintendo is ridiculous. The amount that is worth on a box for a Super Nintendo RPG is astronomical, and it's like I want it, but it's so hard to justify that. So those are different cases. But yeah, I really feel that RPGs are some of the only games that are worth picking up right away or soon, like within the, you know, the 6-month window that a game is released. You know, see if it drops a little bit at the beginning, and then if it does, get it right away, because you might not be able to get it later on, or you're going to be paying up a lot more. So that's the only times that I really feel like I want to buy games on day one. And it's just, I look at my previous videos, and I used to pre-order a lot of games, and I do like unboxings. You haven't seen a new unboxing for me in quite a while. The last one that I did was, I believe, Evolve. I think this is my actual only release from 2015 so far, because I'm just waiting for everything else to drop in price. I really don't feel that anything else is worth it yet. I do have a pre-order for Batman Arkham Knight. I am picking that up no matter what, because I trust that, you know, is that Ubisoft? I don't know if you should trust them or not. But I feel that with Batman Arkham Knight, they've at least delayed it. And that's one place where I feel it's a little bit more safe. When games are saying that they're going to release at this certain time, and then they decide to delay it, they're like, okay, it's not done yet, and we don't feel that if we release it now, it's going to be an incomplete game, so we're just going to hold off and delay it. Batman Arkham Knight, The Witcher 3, the new Zelda that's coming out for Wii U, delayed till next year, Uncharted 4, delayed till next year. I feel that those are a little bit safer because they've delayed it once. They were able to recognize, if we put this out, we don't want to put our stamp, our official seal of approval on these games, because they're not going to be done by the time that we said originally they were going to come out. Those are times that I trust it. So those are really some of the only times that I really feel that I'm going to be picking up games on day one. It's either going to be a Nintendo game, or an RPG that I think will become rare, or maybe just some other kind of game that I feel is going to be rare, or if it's a game that I'm really, really excited for and I cannot wait to play this game on day one. Like, for example, most Halo games, a Grand Theft Auto game, Elder Scrolls, those are games that, you know, series that I enjoy the most out of, and I really want to play them on day one. So I think that slowly, as time goes by, I'm going to be picking up a lot less day one games. As you can see already with 2015, only one game so far, and we're 5 months in. So Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same way, like you used to buy games at full retail and you're just slowly declining. If you've never picked up games on full retail and you just wait for sales, which you could do as well because there's so many games out there, so you could pretty much just wait and just be playing games that are in your backlog because you picked them up on sale for $10 sometimes, and you just have so many of them, which is kind of starting to happen with me. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage!